For small business owners, cyber threats are not a matter of if, but when. When you're in a hacker's crosshairs, having the right kind of armor can make all the difference. I'm Kyndal Hutchison, a cyber analyst at Minc Law, the nation's leading law firm when it comes to reputation management and online security. Today I'll walk you through who is most likely to be targeted by cyber attacks, what types of risks you may find, and what strategies you should use to stay safe. Consulting an expert can save your business and your customers from digital disaster. Let's get started. If your business is part of a high-risk category, it's pretty non-negotiable to have a cybersecurity strategy. So one of the categories would be anything like manufacturing or financial sector things, e-commerce or legal services, or anything protected by HIPAA, so healthcare services. Let's break down the types of cybersecurity risks into two categories, one being internal and one being external. Internal risks come from insider threats. These insider threats may be malicious or unintentional. Insider threats who are malicious are those who have a job with you in bad faith. They are employed with you in part or in whole to gain access to your system or to be able to provide information from your system to a cyber criminal. On the other hand, the insider threats who are unintentional may just amount to poorly trained employees or employees who are not following the best practices in cybersecurity, who may inadvertently expose your systems or their own credentials to malicious actors. One version of unintentional insider threats is the negligent handling of personal information or company information. These would just amount to using bad passwords or unsecured passwords or using the same password over and over. You may also be familiar with phishing scams. Phishing scams will send a link to your email usually, and if clicked on, it can download malware onto your systems and corrupt them and feed information back to a malicious actor. On the other hand, vishing scams are becoming more and more popular with the rise of deepfakes and generative AI. Vishing means voice phishing. So these deepfakes will use the voice or voice snippets of your boss or the owner of your company or your billing specialist to call you and ask for some variety of information, financial information, customer information, whatever the malicious actor wants from you. One of the ways to protect against internal threats is to go through proper training of employees. This proper training will include training them on any kinds of best practices in cybersecurity and may be specific to their job, or may just be something as simple as training them how to use a password manager or training them on company password policies. Speaking of password policies, your company might want to include multi-factor authentication as one of their other protection strategies. This multi-factor authentication will allow you to go through 2 steps of login process for your essential systems to make sure that the person logging in is actually the person using the credentials. Another important tool in managing these risks is the principle of least privilege. Least privilege just means granting each of your employees the least amount of access to your systems and data that is required to do their specific job. It is incredibly job specific. Physical security can be as important as these digital risks. Physical security means locking down any of the locations that your information is stored, whether it be a physical server or your physical office or as simple as a company laptop. Administrative controls are also essential to monitoring and protecting your data security. These administrative controls may impose some type of monitoring on your employees to make sure that they are only accessing the things that they need to access for their job, or at least to track when they are accessing something that may be outside of their job scopes. Perhaps one of the most commonly discussed types of external risks is hackers. Hackers typically want access to your compromised credentials, which would be any type of login and password information for your systems or just your email or space that you host your data for your consumers. Additionally, another type of external risk is phishing, which we mentioned briefly previously in this video. Spoofing is another type of external threat where a malicious actor will create a website that looks like your website, which is intended to get customers of yours to insert their private and personal information into that website with the hopes of collecting it or creating access to your legitimate website. So one of the main ways you can protect your information is keeping your systems and software up to date. Everything that you use should have regular software updates that they offer to you. You should make sure that you are generally doing those when they are available. Secondly, if you're hiring or using any type of contractors or other third-party workers or vendors, it's a great idea to vet them thoroughly to make sure you are trusting them properly with any of the information that you will be providing to them throughout your relationship. It's also a great idea to generally ensure that you have a secure Wi-Fi network and that any remote workers you have also have a secure Wi-Fi network and are not working at the local coffee shop. It may also do your business some good to have a VPN or a firewall protecting your secure internet services. It's also a great idea to ensure that any employees' mobile devices, POS systems, or their laptops are secured and locked down. It's also great to practice password hygiene, which means that you're going to want to have complex passwords, not use the same passwords across multiple different accounts, and ideally use two-factor authentication when possible. There are some other great password manager tools out there that will keep all of your passwords in one place, but still secure. If you're engaging in any type of money transfers, to isolate your financial processing information and your financial processing services from the rest of your business. It's also a great idea to work with banks for their anti-fraud tools and their secure payment systems. Even implementing all of these mitigation tactics and preventative strategies that I've outlined in this video, it is always a great idea to consult with some form of cyber expert or attorney. These cyber professionals and attorneys will be able to point you in the right direction for your specific business needs. No amount of general information from this video or any other videos will be able to replace attorney advice. No cybersecurity plan is one size fits all. Many regulations will depend on your location, and there are a plethora of regulations which you may or may not be aware of when engaging in any of your relevant business activity. A lawyer specifically trained in cybersecurity will be able to find the specific regulations that are relevant to your business and advise you on how to comply with them. We've mapped out the preventative measures critical for small business owners so you can get a head start on fortifying your business and warding off cyber attacks. If you want to take the next step and begin crafting a cybersecurity strategy or training your team, reach out to Minc Law by calling the number on the screen or filling out the contact form on our website, minclaw.com. Let's work together to keep your business secure. I'm Kyndal Hutchison from Minc Law, and I'll see you in the next video.